look at the lineup. And interestingly, look out for Sofia ENNAOUI and Meraf BAHTA as well, who run for Poland and Sweden. Potential rivals perhaps for Laura Muir in Belgrade. Muir going in the 1,000 metres today, looking for a record there. But Hellen OBIRI and Sifan HASSAN, Dawit SEYAUM, Winny CHEBET the pacemaker. This is a lineup of the highest quality. Real competition for Eilish MCCOLGAN and Steph TWELL. They'll be trying to hang on, I think. CHEBET is the pacemaker, but Hellen OBIRI alongside her, and Sifan HASSAN, always such an enjoyable runner to watch because she just hangs back. Maybe not so much in the 3,000, but she's a wonderful 1,500 metre runner to watch, and she just times her little kick from the back of the field. Dawit SEYAUM as well. It's interesting to try and pick a winner here, Paula.
It is. I mean, I definitely think we're looking at two of the top women in the field there, indeed three if you include SEYAUM, and then moving on to ROWBURY as well. But Hellen OBIRI leading the standings so far indoors this winter. Did get beaten convincingly by Laura Muir last week, but Sifan HASSAN also running very well, now training together with Shannon ROWBURY.
Well, it's a former steeplechaser now, Eilish MCCOLGAN, who is going very, very well indeed. He said just lost out the 1,500 title last week to Sarah McDonald. Genevieve LACAZE, a steeplechaser as well, but trying out over the flat here. And Sofia ENNAOUI, diminutive figure, but very, very talented Polish athlete. Steph TWELL, all her problems with injuries in the past now, and enjoying her sort of second career. ALEMU will be strong. There is BAHTA, the Swedish athlete. And as you said, it's Fente, the youngster, 18-year-old. Kalkidan FENTIE, another great talent, and Katie MACKEY, the United States on the inside. But we have a pacemaker here. We have Winny CHEBET, who's been asked to take them through 1,000 metres in 2:50. Again, it's how many people want to go with the pacemaker. But we are looking for times as well. And Eilish MCCOLGAN has the standard. She's qualified for the 3,000 and the 1,500 metres in Belgrade. As I said, if she wants to run them both. I say Laura Muir will be doubling up in other events there. So other things to look out for here, but first of all, no one immediately going with the pacemaker, Paula.
Oh, I think the pacemaker a little bit nervous as well, went out very quickly to be able to establish herself at the front, and the field now working their way back towards her. They've asked for paces of 2:50 per kilometres, which is 34 seconds lap, so we'll get an idea as they go through here how close to that Winny CHEBET is going, but they seem to be keen to go with it at the moment, although it is slower than asked for.
For those of you who saw that race in Karlsruhe where Laura Muir, I say destroyed, she really did in the last 200 metres. Hellen OBIRI simply couldn't keep pace and just faded over the last 150, but still ran a Kenyan record a long way behind Laura Muir, which says the quality that Laura Muir is running at the moment. Again, she runs in the 1,000 metres later on, but Hellen OBIRI, I think, will be the woman to beat here. But Sifan HASSAN, not far away, is always dangerous.
And I think what's interesting, Sifan HASSAN this year has moved coaches, and she's moved over to base herself over with Alberto Salazar, training with Shannon ROWBURY in the Oregon Project team there, and she's already showing big improvements in her racing indoors, but also in the way that she runs races. And I think some of that is perhaps that influence. She used to, as you said earlier, Andrew, hang around at the back of the field and then really move through to take closer order. Now she's really shown that she's serious here today from the beginning in getting right up there, and Shannon ROWBURY is the teammate who's sitting a little bit further back.
So the likely contenders up there at the moment: CHEBET the pacemaker, OBIRI, and Fente. Sifan HASSAN not too far away.
Well, men's long jump competition continues. Ashley Bryant, best known as a decathlete, but having a really good indoor season in the long jump. Foul in the first round, 7:42 in the second round, and that looks a little better for Bryant. Led until the final jump of the UK Championships last weekend, only to see his teammate Dan Bramble go slightly ahead of his best. So runner-up in the UK Long Jump Championships. Just going slightly sideways at the end there. Forces not plumb bob down through his body. That'll have cost him some. Aston offering advice, 7:57, fifth place at the moment. Well, here is Dan Bramble, UK champion last weekend, 7:59 his opener. This the third round. Well, that looks similar. 59 was that opener. What's he saying? Too flat? It's all about timing off the board. Looks quick on the approach. The athletes are struggling here this afternoon. No one beyond 8 metres. Dan Bramble at his best, an 8-metre jump, 8.14 last year for 6th in the World Indoor Championships. What he can do when he's at his best. He is in form. Well, it's 7.57 in 4th place at the moment.
Well, just in the last few moments in the women's 3,000 metres, Eilish MCCOLGAN right at the back of that first group just had to work very hard to keep pace. A little bit of a gap had just opened up. She's in about 11th place, right at the back of that first group. Steph TWELL a couple of places above her, but again, just the demonstration of how hard it is for the two British athletes there to try and maintain contact.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eilish always does tend to take a little bit of time to wind into races, and it was very quick in the early stages. They were just outside 250 through the first kilometre, and Eilish has now taken advantage of a little slackening in pace to work her way back onto it. Having said that, it has now pushed on again, and those gaps are stretching out again.
So out in front you can see it beginning to stretch in the gaps, the chinks of lights beginning to appear between the athletes. Steph TWELL running pretty strongly at the moment, but LACAZE of Australia and Eilish MCCOLGAN beginning to just lose contact, and out in front now it is Hellen OBIRI and Sifan HASSAN, and that gap between those two just beginning to open a little bit as well.
Just a big bit of daylight opening up back to SEYAUM there. I'm looking for Shannon ROWBURY behind that, but she's not really making any inroads on the front two, certainly, who are moving away and becoming a little bit of a battle between these two now. I saw Sifan HASSAN there just take a little bit of a glance around just to take a measure of who's with them and who's going to be a danger, but really the danger's in front of her in this race.
Well, Winny CHEBET, the pacemaker, dropped out, I thought, a little bit early. I thought she was supposed to take them through 2K, but Hellen OBIRI out in front and Sifan HASSAN and Dawit SEYAUM now just a few paces behind as well, and then further still to those who are losing contact. But see, there's a sort of main peloton about 20-30 metres behind now, even perhaps more than that, and at the back of that Eilish MCCOLGAN, Steph TWELL just ahead, still maintaining some contact with the main group. OBIRI just a little glance at the screens, knows that HASSAN is right with her.
And the pace is definitely consistent here, and consistent just over that 8:30 mark. So very fast running, and a race really building up here as well. Hellen OBIRI is doing everything she can to try and get rid of Sifan HASSAN, maybe carrying a little bit of the mental scars from that race with Laura Muir last week, and she wants to make sure that HASSAN has to work hard from a long way out.
Dawit SEYAUM is working pretty well and just about maintaining contact with those front two, Hellen OBIRI and Sifan HASSAN, and there is SEYAUM. Again, about at 10 metres or so, working very, very hard indeed. They're just beginning to lose the top two as the pace lifts once more, and Hellen OBIRI and Sifan HASSAN, this might be a very, very fine race indeed between these two.
If we see acceleration here, which we're definitely going to do in this next 1,000 metres, then they're going to go under 8:30. Maybe they're going to challenge that world lead that Laura Muir did set in Karlsruhe a couple of weeks ago. But now they're really just concentrating on racing each other, and neither one wants to commit too much too early. But Sifan HASSAN, I would say, definitely holds the upper cards in terms of the finishing speed over the last lap.
Well, a pace that Dawit SEYAUM can't live with, and nor can those further behind. Steph TWELL is back in the group, and Eilish MCCOLGAN losing contact now. But Hellen OBIRI, you can see her head starting to rock just a little bit. She's working very, very hard indeed, with Sifan HASSAN looking smooth and just sitting on the shoulder, letting Hellen OBIRI do all the work at the moment. But the pace is brisk, and it's relentless as well. And as Paula says, they could be on for a sub 8:30 time here, a very, very quick time indeed.
And more than that, looking back down the field as well, looking at Steph TWELL running very, very well. Eilish MCCOLGAN trying to hang on to her, but they're on for personal best, I would say, in this race as well, if they can maintain this.
Yes, it's not that they're running badly at all, it's just that these two out in front are a class apart and running very, very well here in Birmingham. Hellen OBIRI still leading out Sifan HASSAN. You know, it looks like quite hard work for OBIRI as her head rocks a little bit. Sifan HASSAN slightly ungainly style with her arms, but hanging there on the shoulder, right behind Hellen OBIRI. Again, OBIRI doing all the hard graft, and HASSAN is in a very comfortable position here.
Yeah, Hellen OBIRI now, for me, starting to look laboured, starting to look as though she doesn't believe that she can outkick Sifan HASSAN. Sifan HASSAN, her eyes just focused on the heels of Hellen OBIRI in front of her, waiting and waiting until she launches that final attack. She did say that the training has been tougher and harder for her, but that she's feeling the benefits of it already, and she's looking much stronger.
Further back behind, well, there's Dawit SEYAUM on her own in third, and then a group of 7 athletes behind that, and that's where we find Steph TWELL and Eilish MCCOLGAN. Again, as Paula said, they are on course just about for personal best. 8:49 McColgan, 8:50 for Steph TWELL, but the bell sounds for these two, and Sifan Hassan hits the front now. 200 metres to go. O'Beary living with her at the moment. She now is chasing down Hassan, and she hasn't given up, and Hassan can't quite break free, and here comes O'Beary now. A surge from nowhere from Hellen O'Beary. Can Sifan Hassan respond? 150 to go, and Hellen O'Beary kicks and lengthens out that stride, and she pulls clear, and victory is going to be hers. And can she get inside 8:30? She will, just about. 8:29.43, the victory for Hellen O'Beary. Sifan Hassan broken by the second surge. Dawit SEYAUM comes through, and Eilish MCCOLGAN finishing very, very strongly, just about to take fourth place. Fifth, I think it might have been for Eilish MCCOLGAN, but a great time. It is a personal best for McColgan. I think Steph TWELL might have just about got her PB behind that as well. Great run from Eilish MCCOLGAN, but what a run from Hellen O'Beary.